Boker Tov, good morning. It's wonderful to be here together with you on this lovely Friday morning. Hope everybody has safely cleared themselves out from the snow experience, and that this morning we have the chance to get together as Shabbat comes in tonight and to connect, to spend this time together. Good morning, Paul. It's good to see you. And good morning to each of you and all of you. I'm sure, and good morning, Fern and Lance. I'm sure those who gathered at the synagogue enjoyed being physically together after yesterday. Excuse me, we were just on Boker Tov. We're grateful that for safety's sake, we can do that on rare occasion. And so to one and to all this morning, Boker Tov, Boker O. Welcome to Boker Tov from Temple Sinai. Temple Sinai Congregation of Toronto's daily opportunity to connect, to reflect, and to remember. I'm Rabbi Michael Dolgan, and I'm happy to be here with you this morning as my voice still wakes up. And as we have the opportunity to face the day, and as we do on Fridays, to look out at the bigger world beyond. It's been a challenging and eventful week in the Jewish world, and I hope that we can consider it together. And so this morning, good morning to all of you and each of you. It's wonderful to see each of you here. Good morning, Sandra and Joni and Gloria and Anne and Eleanor and all those who are with us. Let us join together in the English of Asher Yatzah. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you have fashioned our bodies with wisdom, creating within us a finely balanced network. To stand before you in prayer is itself a fragile miracle. Eternal God, we praise you as the healer of body and spirit. Let's make sure that breath is moving in and out, the root of nishama, linshom, to breathe, to have the spirit come in. When we breathe, we don't actually draw breath in, but we just open up and the vacuum allows air to rush in, that it is accepting the being inspired. We don't have to seek it out. We merely have to let it happen. אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי תורה היא, אתה בראת, אתה יצרת, אתה נפחת בי, ואתה משמרה בקרבי. כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי, מודה אני לפניך. אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אבותיי, ריבון כל המעשים, אדון כל הנשמות. ברוך אתה, אדוני, אשר בידו נפש כל חי, ורוח כל בשר איש. The soul that you have given me, O God, is a pure one. You have created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it. So long as my soul is within me, I will give thanks to you, eternal my God, and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. We praise you, eternal God, in whose hand is the power of all life and the spirit of all flesh. And let's join together, Lasok b'divrei Torah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. V'arev na Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Toratcha b'finu ובפי עמך בית ישראל, ונהיה אנחנו וצאצאינו, וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך, ולומדי תורתך לשמה. ברוך אתה, אדוני, המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור. These are the obligations whose value cannot be measured. They nourish us in this world and help us to create the world to come. Kibud av v'em, to honor fathers and mothers. Ugmilut chasadim, to perform acts of love and kindness. Vashkamat ben amidrash, shacharit ve'arvit, to attend the house of study morning and evening. Vachnasat ochim, to welcome the stranger. Uvikur cholim, to visit the sick. V'hachnasat kala, to provide for brides and grooms. U'levayat hamet, to keep faith with the dead. V'yun tefillah, to pray with sincerity. V'hava'at shalom ben adam lechavero, to make peace when there is strife. V'talmud Torah keneged kulam, and the study of Torah is equal to them all. Well, let's continue together and join in our Birchot HaShachar, our morning blessings, and these blessings that name the challenge of living a life where we are alert and awake, not merely physically so, but where we see what is and is not happening around us. These early blessings acknowledge our existence as moral beings created in the image of God, who make choices and decide what to do with the freedom that we have. And then the blessings continue with the ways in which we partner with God in creation, especially the first blessing on the second page, Matir Asurim, setting free the captive, which we will read both in Hebrew, half English, in order to affirm our support for the hostages still cruelly held. We begin with entirely Hebrew and then half and half, and alternating as we go. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sechvi vina, la'avchin ben yom uben laila. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, you have created me in the divine image. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, you have made me a Jew. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa li kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, you open the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, you release those who are held captive, also in Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim, Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kufufim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, you maintain the balance of land and sea. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, you surround Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, loter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, you give strength to the weary. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir shena me'enai, utnuma me'afapai. And as we celebrate our awakening today, we join together in our affirmation that we recite at least twice daily of oneness, of the unity of God, and therefore of that unity that should draw us together to care for one another and support one another. At the same time, our way of doing it is by taking the beautiful tradition that we've been given, that morally demands of us, that we know the heart of those who are in pain, and we teach that to our children in a way that affirms our continued identity and safety as well. Please join me in Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam. V'shivtecha b'vetecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochpecha u'kumecha. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם ויעשו להם ציצית. ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם. ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בטיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם, ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Well, I'm pleased that we have the chance to be here together this morning and to look out at the world around us. And as I said, it's been a challenging thing to do over the last number of days, as I, together with almost 100 other individuals or groups, responded in a committee meeting of the Toronto District School Board to them releasing the results of their consultation with the Jewish community, in which, of course, I also participated. And even more than that, it also had some initial thoughts about their strategy for taking on anti-Semitism. And there hasn't been a ton of coverage. There's been some. The meeting began at 4:30 on Wednesday afternoon. And after going late into the night on Wednesday, continued on Thursday, where Thursday night from 4:30, many hours after that, this subcommittee of the Toronto District School Board and its trustees voted to accept the report. If you haven't been following and that sounds like a mundane activity, you should be correct. That is the painful nature of what happened this week. That after months and months of meetings, after meeting with huge numbers of groups all across the Jewish spectrum, this group charged within the TDSB to hear the voice of Jewish community, heard that as the statistics say that about 91% of modern Jews regard our communal identity and the right to be a free people on land to which we have an indigenous connection in Israel. That since 91% of the community feel that way, they found in their consultation that of the Jews and Jewish groups they spoke to, 88% supported that position. And so while also, of course, opposing all forms of anti-Semitism, this imperfect report, imperfect because it flows from complex, concerning, confused DEI framework, which is very much a part of the basis of what happens at the TDSB these days. Nonetheless, they affirmed in this report that, in fact, Jews have been terrible victims of anti-Semitism, especially since October the 7th, 2023, that it happens and is happening in our schools and is happening in our broader communities, where individual students have been attacked and assaulted and marginalized, and where Jewish schools have received the same response after our community has been flooded with anti-Jewish and anti-Zionist hatred. And in this almost 100 delegates, those who spoke up, heard a huge number of voices. Well, huge meaning under 100, meaning maybe 50 or 60. The truth is the anti-Israel and in this way anti-Semitic voices turned out in massive numbers considering their limited presence in the community, and spoke against the report and against hearing the voice of the core Jewish community. And I admit I am pleasantly surprised that in a vote of 12 to 8, the trustees rejected the push to reject the report, to send it back, and then voted to accept this report. What did I learn in this process? What I learned is that loud voices carry the day unless the core of the community speaks up. That the voices that spoke against this report represent a very small minority of voices, and in the main represent a rejection of the right of the Jewish people to define ourselves as we actually are, as a people, rather than as merely some creed and religion. And that's really what's at stake here, is the right of Jewish children to be safe in school. That's the most important thing. And then what that flows from, the right of the Jewish people, like any other people, to define itself and not to have anger and argument over foreign politics or local radical politics, be able to take away the rights to safety, self-determination, and self-definition of the Jewish people here. I learned that we must stand up. We must work hard to see the big picture. I admit I was deeply disturbed that at least one significant organization within the Jewish communal structure, an organization that works hard normally for Jewish children and tends to lean to the right, chose to urge the rejection of this report because they didn't like some of its initial possible strategic directions and assumptions, which accidentally allied them with those voices that are against hearing the voice of the Jewish people. We must learn the lesson of October the 8th, 2023, that as a community, we must discuss internally what we want, and then we must stand strong together and stand for the Jewish people. The voices that we heard, yes, and really attacked anything that would give us the right to define ourselves as a larger identity, as a people who are experiencing discrimination, and instead wanted to redefine us in a way that was would cause more attacks and that would limit our own freedom and our own identity as Jews and as Canadians who live and are served by a public school board. Thankfully, this time, this report, which is imperfect as any report would be, and we'll need to continue the work, we received in this moment this meaningful and positive outcome, but we did it despite our lack of unity rather than because of it. And I hope we'll continue to work, and I will continue to work within the community and with your help and support to urge our community to stand together, to see the bigger picture, and to make sure that our world is safe for our kids, our grandkids, our students, when we live in a place that is hostile to the core definition of Judaism, which in no way applies a political ideology, but rather an understanding that we are a people and that we have a common destiny and that we work together for our own self-understanding and determination. More to come, but let's in that spirit turn to our prayer for the soldiers of the IDF, a prayer that is a prayer for peace, because the IDF is called into its current phase of being on a war footing, even during a time of ceasefire. because of the terrorist and violent attacks against Jewish self-determination and Jewish strength. And so we wish them strength and hope that their efforts can lead, as they are intended to a more peaceful world for all, as painful as this war has been for all who have been innocent victims of it. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה לאה ורחל הוא יברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ושאר מגיני עמנו העומדים על משמרתם. ישמרם הקדוש ברוך הוא ויצילם מכל צרה וסוכר מכל נגע ומחלה וישלח ברכה בכל מעשה ידיהם ויקוים בהם הכתוב וכיתתו חרבותיהם לעתים וחניתותיהם למזמרות לא יישאו גואל גוי חרב ולא ילמדון עוד מלחמה וישבו איש תחת גפנו ותחת תאנתו ואין מחריד ונאמר אמן. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless the soldiers of the IDF and all who stand on guard for us. May the Holy One guard them against all difficulty and distress, injury and illness. May all of their actions bring blessing, fulfilling the prophet's words. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, and may they learn war no more. May all sit under a vine or fig tree with none to make them afraid, and together we say, Amen. Let's continue with our prayer for healing, for those in need of strength and healing, both those in our circle of family and friends in need of support that is so essential when we try to recover from some kind of physical difficulty or other kind of pain or loss. We think of all those whose names have been given to me and given to Temple, placed in the chat in this and other services. And of course, isolation is such a painful malady, even when we experience it by accident, let alone having it forced on the hostages for these hundreds and hundreds of days. We will welcome 3 more hostages, it seems, tomorrow. But the failure to free all of them immediately is a larger human failure that must be named. For each of them, for all of them, for those closest to us in need of healing, we turn to these words of refuah. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה לאה ורחל הוא ירפא את כל מכותינו. יהי רצון מלפניך אדוני אלוהינו להחל עמם ולרפאותם וישלח לנו מהרה רפואה שלמה ועטרת שלום ונאמר Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless and heal all who suffer. May it be the divine will to provide healing and strength. Reveal to us the holiness of life, the wholeness of shalom, and let us say together, Amen. Well, I appreciate us having the opportunity to connect and to reflect. And now we take time to remember, recalling those who died in recent days and weeks, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. During the period of Shloshim, the past 30 days, we extend our condolences to the families of David Silverman, Roxanne Reisman, Sheila Arbisman, Howard Kadekel, Myrna Zeidenberg, Larry Bernick, Sharon Rosen, Amy Meithner. And we also remember all victims of war and terror, including terror victims Akiva von Königswald, Tamar Edri, and the following IDF personnel whose lives have been lost in the past 30 days. Aviel Weissman, Danila Diakov, Guy Kaumiel, Liam Hazi, Oron Shaul, Yachav Hadal, Yoav Fefel, Nachman Rafael Ben Ami, Nadav Cohen, Eviatar Ben Yehuda, Yachav Mayan, Nevo Fischer, Eliav Stukel, Ofer Jung, Avram Tzvika Friedman, Alexander Fedorenko, Yair Yaakov Shushani. And on Yahrzeit, on this day, on this 16th day of the month of Shvat, the 14th of February, 2024, we honor the life and legacy on Yahrzeit of Marlene Brown, Daniel Cohen, Simon Suker, Marilyn Farkas, Nathan Goluboff, Robert Hillman, Harry Organ, Gloria Pelkovitz, Benjamin Pellman, Lori A. Shapiro, Leo Shute, Ann Silver, Edward Silver, Arthur Wise. Zichronam Levracha, may their memories be a blessing to us. Our griefs and our sympathies are mingled as we turn together to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope. יתגדל ויתקדש שמך רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותה, וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון ובימיכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמך רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו. לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא ואמור אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמור אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמור אמן. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and bring comfort and strength to all who remember. And together we say, Amen. Well, I'm grateful for the time we have together in Temple Sinai. I'm grateful that a contribution has been made today by the Minyan Fund by Marilyn and Jerry Suker and family, observing Yahrzeit for Simon Suker and Edward Silver. Boker Tov. Boker O. Looking forward to you joining us for Shabbat Shalom, both online tonight at 6:30 and tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Boker Tov. Make it a good one.